Hello everybody, I am back with another review on the Aerofit 2 Pros. These are the newest flagship for Soundcore, and I'm pretty much going to answer the question, are these a match with the Shox OpenFit Pros? In this video, I'm pretty much going to present my own overall experience with the performance of these two buds, how they compare, and what is my conclusion from it. Both of these buds, the Aerofit 2 Pros and the Shox OpenFit Pros, pretty much are basically identical. They both have ANC, both have wireless charging, both have app support, and both have physical buttons. Where they differ really is just design and price, as the Aerofit 2 Pro have a hybrid design between a open and semi-in-ear design, and also retail at a price of $179.99, while the Shox have a more classical open style design and retail at a price of $249.95. So in this video, I'm pretty much going to lay out just the specs and just going to showcase where these guys are their strongest and their weaknesses. So in that way, you guys can have your own conclusion, and hopefully this can help you purchase the right bud. For specs, for the Aerofit 2 Pros, it has Bluetooth 6.1, it has 11.8 millimeter composite material drivers, 7 hours of playtime with 34 hours with case. ANC on will give it about 5 hours per charge, 24 hours with case, versus the Shox with about 6 hours per charge and 24 hours with case with ANC on. The Aerofit Pro 2s have pretty much spatial audio with head tracking, high res, LDAC only for Android, so not for Apple users, and are rated at an IP55 water resistant. They also have multi-point. They have a dual form design, so they switch ear hook levels to seamlessly access open ear or ANC form. That's just pretty much their way of saying that when you pretty much lock them out like this creates a ANC to be turned on, twist it or lock it out to here. It pretty much has an open design which accesses the open mode. So really their own form of transparency mode. So now I'm going to be talking about my own experience with the comfort and security of the earbuds. The earbuds are comfortable at first, and this is going to be pretty much my own experience. Everybody's ears are different, but for my standard, these earbuds are a little bit uncomfortable. I can still wear them for like 8 hours, but over time, I do start feeling worn out by just the design itself. You see, as these are semi-in-ear, they pretty much stick a little bit into the ear, but not as much. The only issue is that because they have their physical buttons designed like this way, pretty much in the front, when you click on them, they pretty much go further into your ear, which causes a little bit more discomfort. That's kind of an issue when you're talking about, just comfort overall. In comparison to the Open Shox, what they have is that the physical buttons are pretty much located right here on top of the earbud. So when you pretty much click on this, all that force is pretty much going downward. So it doesn't really cause too much discomfort, especially when you're, turning down the volume and you just simply don't have your phone around. Having that clinking on the side can cause discomfort and ear fatigue quite frequently. I have wear these earbuds over a week, and I can just say that I feel a lot more pressure, not as much, but when I drop them in favor of the Shox, I do see the difference in just comfort. Just wearing the Shox, the traditional design is superior for just overall comfort. And it really just shows how much of distinction there is with just the comfort between these two buds. I think this design pretty much hinders that comfort. It sacrificed the comfort for something of a unique design of providing that noise cancellation, whereas the shocks just simply have a new type of technology that can pretty much elevate that experience and pretty much deliver that ANC or noise reduction seamlessly without requiring a design that sacrifices that comfort. If you're wear glasses like I do, I would say that they do pretty well. I don't have any issues while wearing glasses. Same thing with the shocks. So if you are looking to buy an open style earbud for a lower price and you see these at a good price at $149, they are a pretty good option to wear if you have glasses on. Now for case, the Aerofit Pro 2s are pretty much the largest from my bunch here. So if you have an issue with just space, these are large, and depending on how you travel around, it does kind of grab a lot of space, but typically a lot of open style earbud cases are large. So if you're pretty much looking for just smaller cases, there might be better options elsewhere. It's just that open style earbuds always tend to have larger case. I don't really have a complaint with them. I think I am happy that they do have wireless charging, so does the shocks. So if you're pretty much looking for just wireless charging, they do deliver on that part. Another thing that I have a complaint about these earbuds is the quality control. I'm not sure if it's because of the price, but they do cut out while I'm listening to YouTube videos. I'm not sure if I have a defective one. Maybe I do. I have actually encountered that issue with the Shocks Open Fit 2 Plus. I have issues where pretty much they will cut out occasionally. I would say like every 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know if it's because when I'm walking around the connection is disturbed, but these are advertised to have a Bluetooth 6.1, so I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's because it's the first earbuds in the after being produced, so maybe I'm having one of those issues where they're really aren't ironed out in the factory, so who knows. So I would just say that generally speaking, I don't have issues with the latency, just that it does cut out quite frequently. So if you have an issue like that, it might be a quality control issue. So ANC performance. The ANC performance on these two buds are, they work a little bit good. Let me rephrase that a bit. The ANC is much stronger in the shocks. This is something that I think I'm starting to notice a bit more with the Shocks Open Fit Pros. The ANC is stronger. I actually feel the pressure on the ANC on the shocks. So in time, I might start actually seeing the ANC and the shocks a bit more of a liability, in my opinion. So I probably prefer more listening to them without the ANC on. I did notice while walking through the streets or outside in windy conditions that the ANC does actually start fluctuating a bit, I guess. It's trying to compete with a lot of the noise outside, and it kind of like decreases pressure, increases pressure, and it kind of irritates me a little bit. I might have to test more into that stuff, but when it comes to just, in the office, which ANC is better? The shocks are much better because of the fact that they're more convenient, and you have to actually move these earbuds in a position to activate that noise cancellation. You can still activate it without locking in, but when it comes to just which one I prefer, I just prefer the Shocks ANC. It does work. It's just that pressure I'm a little bit on the fence on. So when it comes to who's more effective, the shocks are more effective. The ANC on the Aerofit 2 Pros are serviceable. they're just not on the same level as the shocks in terms of convenience and in some ways effectiveness. Of course, they're kind of I would say the percent difference between these is like 10%. But when you're comparing it to the AirPod for ANCs, these guys decimate these earbuds in noise cancellation mode, or when you lock them in completely into the ear. These are way more effective. And of course more effective than the shocks because they're open style. But when we're talking about just, in in-ear form, these are just better. And that's just something that I'm personally spoiled on. If somebody new was coming into just buying these earbuds and they never really heard active noise cancellation in a in-ear form, they are going to be impressed by it. But I have been spoiled with a lot of ANC earbuds, and I would just say that when it comes strictly to my preference on ANC, I do like it really, seamlessly and effective. So the effectiveness on the shocks are quite impressive. The convenience of just pressing the button and pretty much activating is very impressive. The design kind of fails the Aerofit 2 Pros here, both in semi-Indian form and open form. It's just that they're overcompensating with trying to cover as much ground as possible, something that I have reiterated in the other video, and it still holds up in my overall experience. So sound quality. I would say that the sound quality is a bit flat for my liking. Sound is subjective, so this is pretty much on me and how I interpret the sound. For me, I really think that the sound isn't as impressive as their predecessor, the Aerofit 2s, as I do like them a bit more. I think it's something with the sound signature being tuned a little bit more bassy. I have seen in the comment sections stating that the Aerofit 2 Pros have more bass than their predecessor, but in my experience, maybe because I might have faulty earbuds, I prefer the sound signature of the Aerofit 2s, just simply because the bass is a bit deeper and rumbles a bit more in my ear, maybe because of the fact that their design is open and they have more space between the ear and the speaker, so it probably gives a bit more of space for the bass to travel longer, I guess. I'm not sure, but for my experience, I do prefer the Aerofit 2s over the Pros. Now, against the shocks are just a league in its own. These earbuds just have fantastic bass. The bass you actually feel, you feel it around the hook. I'm not sure if they have some kind of bone conduction. The mids and highs are sparkling and very clear, and they have a very wide sound stage. So when it comes to just sound quality, the shocks just outperform the competition at the moment. There's not really any earbud that can actually compete in this arena. So I would just give it to the shocks. Second to just the Aerofit if you're pretty much on the boat between these two buds. If you really want to, I could recommend the Shocks Open Fit 2. Their sound is pretty clear, but I think the bass on the Aerofit 2 is much deeper. So yeah, that was a pretty fun review on these two earbuds and just really how they compare with each other. This review was pretty much more focused on the Soundcore Aerofit 2s Pros. I think that they're an okay earbud. I am very spoiled. I have a lot of exposure to a lot of types of ANC earbuds. And while these guys are pretty impressive in some areas, I think this overall design does hinder it pretty well. I think that what they should have done is just upgraded the Aerofit 2s, just give it, buttons and improved the sound quality. That would have been a war-winning earbud there. But I do commend Soundcore for going for a more unique approach and trying to do something that other manufacturers don't do. I just think that this design overall might have bite them in the butt a bit too hard. Comfort and security is my highest priority when talking about open style earbuds. It is why the shocks have pretty much outpaced my ANC earbuds. Like these first generation shocks, they pretty much replace my AirPod Pro 3s and my AirPod Pro 2s as my daily drivers. I love this open style design, and it's why they're so popular right now because of the fact that you can have situational awareness in the office while still listening to your songs and being very comfortable because they're not inside your ear. I applaud for Soundcore for this new design. I just think that they should retreat back to their original design, abandon this hybrid type of semi in-ear and open style earbud. I think this design just hinders them a bit too much. Something that, well, it's a good, good approach, especially trying to, compensate for such newer technology that is present with the Shocks Pros ANC or noise reduction. It pretty much sacrifices a little bit of that comfort, and it's very noticeable when you, after you wear them for 8 hours and you try the shocks again, and you can tell that there is so much relief in my ears. So yeah, in the end of the day, our ears are different. We will all have our different personal experience. It's just that when it comes to, for me and someone who has been spoiled with countless different other earbuds, I just prefer comfort. It's it's just a deal breaker, especially for this type of section here, with the open style earbuds. That's what they're meant for. They're supposed to be comfortable while giving you that ability to be aware. If one of those two are pretty much left out, then you pretty much are fighting an uphill battle here. And it's just better just to go with the most comfortable one, the one that actually works. The price is pretty high on these earbuds, but for me personally, they are worth it. I would prefer paying for the extra dollar for that comfort and security while getting that ANC performance. So yeah, that's pretty much my review. Hey, have a nice time.